Rick Ross just destroyed Drake and his new album, and this might end up in court. For most of the 2010s, Drake and Rick Ross were one of hip-hop's most consistent collaborative partnerships. Aston Martin Music, Stay Schemin', Lord Knows, Money in the Grave. These records helped define an era when both of them stood near the top of mainstream rap. Ross was the OG cosign. Drake was the streaming king who pushed everything he touched to new heights. They made each other bigger. Then 2024 happened. When Kendrick Lamar and Drake went to war in one of rap's most watched beefs in years, Rick Ross chose a side, and it was not Drake's. Ross aligned with Kendrick, joined the social media pile-on, dropped a song called Champagne Moments dissing Drake, coined the term BBL Drizzy, and made no secret of where his loyalties were. Drake noticed. The collaboration era ended. Fast forward to May 2026. Ross did a Verzuz battle with French Montana and performed Aston Martin Music, one of the biggest songs he and Drake ever made together, but he had Drake's vocals completely removed. He told the crowd if they wanted to sing Drake's parts, that was on them. Then when Drake's portion came up, he stood there grinning while the audience sang it themselves. Days before the Verzuz, Ross gave an interview where he was asked where things stand with Drake. He said one word: nothing. When he was told Drake's album was about to drop, he said, "Is it?" He told Hot 97 that nobody fears Drake releasing an album. Then on May 15th, Drake dropped not one, not two, but 3 albums at the same time: Iceman, Maid of Honor, and Habibti. 41 songs in one night. Fans went searching through the bars immediately and found what they were looking for on a track called Make Them Pay. On that song, Drake raps a line, playing on the name Adin Ross, essentially saying he was aiding Ross with streams before the streamer Adin Ross had ever streamed. The line was interpreted as Drake claiming credit for Rick Ross's commercial rise. Ross responded within hours. He took to Instagram and started scrolling through comments on posts about the album, reading people defending Drake's lyrics and yelling bars over and over again in a mocking tone. He called Drake washed. He said the albums were mid. He wrote Iceman Melted and promoted his own upcoming album Set in Stone, saying Stone lasts forever. He also said RIP to the Drake stans, adding he was making records when Drake was still on Degrassi. He called out podcasters Rory and Mal for what he described as glazing Drake, but Ross did not stop there. On May 20th, he sat down with Patrick Bet-David on the PBD podcast and went further. When asked if he would put Drake at his level, Ross said no. He called the Iceman album horrendous. He said his friends listened to it and lost an hour of their lives. He said he could not even finish listening to it. He suggested Drake's streaming numbers are inflated and not real. He also joked that Drake might sue anyone who criticizes him. Now here is where it gets interesting. While Ross was doing all of this talking, Drake's numbers were telling a different story. Iceman opened with 140 million first-day streams on Spotify, making it the biggest album debut of 2026 and the second largest hip-hop debut in Spotify history. Across all 3 releases, Drake generated more than 196 million streams in a single day. The album is projected to lead the Billboard Hot 100, and then Drake responded in his own way. On May 21st, Drake liked to post on social media highlighting that Rick Ross's upcoming orchestral reunion tour was struggling with ticket sales. Reports showed that several dates still had plenty of seats available, and some were being promoted with buy one, get one 50% off deals. Drake did not say a word. He just liked the post. That is a calculated response from someone who knows the numbers speak for themselves. Ross has confirmed his upcoming 12th studio album Set in Stone, scheduled for June 12th, will contain diss tracks aimed at Drake. Multiple diss tracks. He said hip-hop thrives on competition, and that rivalries keep the genre alive. So this is not over. Ross is playing a longer game, pushing the narrative that Drake has lost his cultural standing since the 2024 Kendrick situation. Every time he mocks a Drake lyric, he adds to that story. But Drake's charts keep climbing. The next chapter arrives when Set in Stone drops.